This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, protesters stopped Dunedin traffic this afternoon in support of Ehumato land dispute in Auckland. As this winter's flu season continues, Otago University's Student Health Service are busy vaccinating students. And a 23-year-old Dunedin student is taking part in this year's Stadium Club Dunedin fundraiser. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Protesters stopped Dunedin traffic for a time this afternoon as an impromptu rally was held in support of the Ehumato land dispute in Auckland. They sat in the middle of State Highway 1 at the intersection of Albany and Cumberland Street for about 10 minutes before moving off peacefully.
Disputes over a piece of land at Ehumato near Mangere have reached the south. Around 300 protesters marching in Dunedin today to show their support of the Ehumato land dispute in Auckland. The issue is very real for Rifi Toi Whenua, whose whakapapa is in Northland.
And I have come down to support the whānau here today, specifically so our children won't have to go through this when they get older. That's what's going to happen, my brother. As a child, I thought I would never have to go through this, watching these things on TV and whatnot. But I'm at an age now where I'm thinking, man, we have to do something now.
The disputed land is currently owned by Fletcher Building Residential. They have plans to build a housing development on it, but the protesters say the land is waitapu or sacred to iwi, as ancestors lived there for 1,000 years.
We're not getting heard, obviously. You know, we're not being cared about as a culture, as a people. I'm not sure, you know, but I'm here so our kids don't have to do this. You know, and we need to be doing something now in our generation so our kids can live a beautiful life and enjoy the things, you know.
About 20 members of the Ehumato community started camping by the side of the road in November 2016, but eviction notices were issued this week and 6 people were arrested, sparking protests around the country.
Trying to build on land that was seized in violation of Te Tiriti, and even though it's changed hands a few times, you know, mana whenua there haven't really had a full say, and they want this sacred and very spiritually important land to be for the people of New Zealand.
Dunedin marchers didn't feel their voices were being heard at MP David Clark's office, so began a hikoi through Dunedin, heading south along George Street, where police stopped traffic and helped keep protesters safe from frustrated motorists. Protesters ended up sitting in the middle of the State Highway 1 and Albany Street intersection for more than 10 minutes before dispersing peacefully. As a peace offering, Fletchers have offered to return 25% or 8 hectares of the land they own to the Kingitanga. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After months of uncertainty, one of Southland's most anticipated events is back on the menu for next year. The Bluff Oyster and Food Festival is set to be held in May next year, with 4,000 tickets going on sale today. The future of the event was in doubt after the Trust was denied permission to demolish the deteriorating Club Hotel. The Trust can't sell the building and doesn't have the money to maintain it. They've also been denied consent to demolish the Category 2 heritage building. Instead, they'll leave the building where it is and reevaluate after next year's event. As this winter's flu season continues, Otago University's Student Health Service is adding extra clinics for students wanting to be vaccinated against influenza. And nursing staff say the flu season appears to be arriving later and later each year.
Getting a jab to help fight off this year's strains of influenza. The Student Health Service says they're still busy with their vaccination program for Otago students.
We have been out to all of the colleges and done evening clinics on site, and in addition to that we have run in-house clinics, and we're currently still running clinics, so at the moment it's 3 clinics a week plus extra evening clinics depending on demand.
While the number of students wanting vaccinations has remained about the same, Martin says the flu season seems to be arriving later than before.
It used to be quite early in July, but now we're finding that the peak flu tends to be late July into August.
Earlier this year, a shortage of vaccinations led to the prioritisation of people more susceptible to the flu. But since then, more vaccines have been brought into the country, and everyone is now again eligible to get a flu shot.
There was a national shortage of vaccine, and now that shortage has been rectified. I think that some 55,000 vaccines have been made available, and those are now available to anyone. The priority is always people who have pre-existing medical conditions, but the vaccines are available for anyone who wants one.
New Zealand's Crown Research Institute says the southern regions are experiencing higher rates of influenza than further north, with over 4 times as many cases in Otago and Canterbury compared to Nelson, Marlborough and Westland. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The Dunedin City Council is now exploring alternative options for motorists when the St Andrew Street car park closes for 2 months. But there's no guarantee the measures will be in place before the closure goes ahead. The options include changing nearby parallel parks to angle parking to create more capacity. The move comes after the council announced earlier this month the popular all-day 300-space commuter car park will be unavailable when work begins on the latest link in the city's cycle network. The 23-year-old Dunedin student Alex Yarnell is planning on taking part in this year's Stadium Climb, Dunedin fundraiser for blood cancer patients. The event is of personal significance for him, as he missed out last year's climb as he battled leukaemia. But he's now in remission and looking forward to doing his bit in this year's challenge.
Checking out Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium for the Stadium Climb in October to raise funds for blood cancer. Leukaemia patient Alex Yarnell wanted to take part in last year's challenge but was too ill, so instead colleagues from his former job at Dunedin Hospital entered 2 teams in the event.
I was watching the funds go up, and I believe their team was called the Bloody Idiots, and they managed to raise the largest amount of money out of all the teams, and one of my nurses in particular raised the largest amount of any person, and probably could be in a team of her own.
His battle with leukaemia has included a bone marrow transplant in Christchurch, with the donation coming from his brother.
Oh, it's amazing. I can go play basketball now again and get back to it, so I've really enjoyed my brother's blood.
This 7-month-old golden retriever named Chemo came into his life after he returned home following the operation.
He's been a good aid to recovery and getting me out and about and walking him every other day.
Yarnell is now in remission, and if his recovery stays on track, he plans to complete his engineering studies at Otago Polytechnic and find work locally after he graduates.
Hopefully I'll be working in one of the mechanical engineering firms in Dunedin. I've got a small internship with Scott, and that's going along nicely. It's surprising how much industry we actually have in Dunedin when it gets down to it.
Registrations for this year's Stadium Climb are now open, with the event scheduled for mid-October in Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, we begin a 7-part series looking at just a few of the hundreds of volunteers who helped out after the March Christchurch terror attack. So see you after the break.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins, and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy 1 pair, save $25. Buy 2, save $60, and we've got a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Welcome back. The Christchurch terror attack in March devastated the Muslim community and the city. Several volunteer groups rallied to support victims' families, the injured as well as the wider Muslim community. Today we begin a 7-part series looking at just a few of the hundreds of volunteers who helped out.
I said we all gonna die. I read my shahada. I said we all if he stood in a door, there's no way to go out. I said, he's gonna kill all of us.
I saw people running out of the mosque really fast.
And I was lucky. There was people just around me, they knocked down.
And I was looking through the window and then there were armed forces, police. They were surrounding the hospital. And then cars, random cars, public cars were coming in with bodies. People who had been shot, legs. I saw everything. I counted about 8 bodies. Then I saw a little girl, and then I just started crying.
And when I went to the hospital and saw the amount of people that were there and that had been affected, you knew that this was it. We were going to need to be supporting these families for a long time emotionally. That we'd been through a lot, and then we started grieving because this person and this person and this person, and the only way that we could grieve was to be with each other.
My friend's brother and another family member had been shot. They're at the hospital now. They've survived, they're at the hospital, but they still need a lot of support. We will drop it off around about 4 to 5 today.
All right, sweet. Hey, thank you for your time. Save my contact.
Thank you so much. I love you a lot. Take care, okay? When the attack was actually happening, I got a phone call from a friend of mine. His dad fled the situation. He jumped over a fence as it was happening. And the second call that my friend rang was me, and he said to me to check up on my father and brothers to make sure that they're safe. And I called my sister. She at the time was actually at the hospital because my brother's there at the moment getting surgery. When I arrived, I saw a lot of Muslim brothers in their socks that have run from the mosque to the hospital.
Oh, you got it here?
Yeah. I came here when I was about 4 to 5, and I came from Kurdistan as a refugee. I don't remember much of it at all. My dad does. And my dad, when he heard about the situation, he said to me that he feels like, he said to me that he's been through this, so it's not new to him.
Now, yeah, I'm gonna go
we
there.
have to pick up some people.
We've all been trying to like keep our emotions to the side and just stay focused, because that's really important. But it's been like an emotional roller coaster. So we hear stories of what's happened, which makes us sad and cry, and then we get amazing people come in and like, donate things, which makes us happy.
For me, I cannot sit at home and do nothing. I think for me, by helping out, it's a way to keep my mind off everything else. It makes me feel like I'm doing something for the people who have been directly affected by this. A lot of my friends as well, their families have been affected a lot by this. And it's my way of giving something back to them. So we're just off to a funeral from a good friend of ours. He's been there for us at times that we've needed it. So it's time for us to be there for him.
And we'll bring you part 2 of the 7 videos in Monday's bulletin. After the break on the South today, North Otago puts in a strong challenge for the Ranfurly Shield, but Otago reigns supreme on the day. And we have the weekend's weather for you, so stay with us.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we have a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all. 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Evening, I'm from the Parks Department. Have you got a permit for that fire?
Thanks for staying with us. Otago has pulled away to defeat North Otago 49-14 and hold on to the Ranfurly Shield in Oamaru this afternoon. A home crowd of around 2,000 supporters had some moments of joy. Winger Howard Packman scored midway through the first spell and North Otago rumbled over for a second try from close quarters. But the game was mostly dominated by the Ranfurly Shield holders. Otago's set pieces were stronger and its handling superior. First 5'8" Ash Moeki was impressive on debut for Otago, drilling all 7 conversion attempts. Meanwhile, the Dunedin Premier Club Rugby final takes centre stage at Forsyth Bar Stadium tomorrow as the University takes on Tairi. In the latest edition of Rugby Chat, Paul Dwyer gets the thoughts of both coaches as they prepare for the big dance.
So Phil, let's talk to you then. So where do you look? I mean, I've said in the paper all year that defensively you're the best team in the competition, and traditionally your sides are good defensively, and I think they've played. And the backline defence has been outstanding. So where do you see your strengths, and where do you see you winning this game on the weekend?
Bounce the ball. Finals rugby's it's a different game really. It's keeping clear heads and orchestrating a plan that the guys that understand and fully understand how to play finals rugby. But at the end of the day, it's going to be defining moments in the game, and it'll go right to the wire. Like it won't be done and dusted in 5-10 minutes.
You don't get any. We don't normally see a blowout in a final, do we?
So it's going to be great, for our boys and for Pete's boys. And it'll just be an opportunity to get out there and cherish the moment, really.
So let's talk about your team. So I mean, your team has been. Like I picked you guys to win this competition at the start of the year, even though I slipped up last week. I still think Varsity are the strongest team in this competition. So where do you see yourselves getting over these boys on Saturday?
Just like Phil says, it's going to be key moments. It's making sure everyone's playing together with the plan that's instructed. But defence wins semi-finals, and sometimes attacking rugby wins finals. So we're aware how well coached Tairi are, and how disciplined they are, and with regards to their defence. So. I agree with Phil. It's going to come down to the wire, and it's the team that makes the least amount of mistakes will win that game on Saturday.
The Premier Final is one of 4 to be played at the stadium tomorrow, with the Premier Division 2 Women's and Premier Colts finals also part of the action, which kicks off at 10:45 a.m. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Protesters stopped Dunedin traffic for a time this afternoon in support of the Ehumatu land dispute in Auckland. As this winter's flu season continues, Otago University's Student Health Service is adding extra clinics for students wanting to be vaccinated against influenza. And 23-year-old Dunedin student Alex Yano is planning on taking part in this year's Stadium Club Dunedin fundraiser for blood cancer patients. And now looking at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry Stewart. What have you got for us in tomorrow's paper?
We've got a stack of good stories for you tomorrow. Leading off in the mix, our 28-page weekend magazine, feature writer Bruce Monroe reports on what has been hailed as a miracle cure for hepatitis C. But about 25,000 New Zealanders have the deadly disease but do not know about it. So the race is on to track them down. So that's Bruce's story in the mix tomorrow.
That's fantastic. They call that the silent killer, don't they?
Exactly right. And that is our heading in the mix tomorrow as well. So there you go. Otago, of course, retained the Ranfurly Shield, beating North Otago. But the interesting sidelight to that match was that it was refereed for the first time by a woman. So we talked to her after the game.
Nice.
We also look at the latest candidates putting their names forward for local body elections throughout the region. Research vessel has taken time away from the sea ice of Antarctica to in the ocean's deepest trenches to show Dunedin its secrets this weekend, so look out for that. In business, Frank Griffin has spent a career in animal health research and also has strong interest in New Zealand's food production systems. He talks to Rural Editor Sally Ray about the future of farming. Of course, big weekend of sport. We've already got the Ranfurly Shield match out of the way. Big previews tomorrow for the club finals, women's and men's, and of course the All Blacks versus Springboks match in Wellington, which will be an interesting one. So lots of sports action in the paper tomorrow.
Wonderful, thank you very, and you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weekend's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Today's southern view is of a seagull on a pole with a commanding view of the city. Looking at the situation, light northwesterly airflow develops this weekend, bringing mostly fine weather to the region, but colder southwesterlies and wintry showers are forecast to arrive early next week. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect maybe a lonely cloud or two and 14 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are also due for a cloud or two during the day with a pleasant winter high of 16 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, the clear skies continue for Kaikoura with 14 degrees, planned for 13 degrees and maybe a cloud or two in Christchurch, and it's due to be sunny with a high of 14 degrees for Ashburton. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Balclutha, the Catlins and Gore can all expect light northerlies, some high cloud and 11 degrees. Lumsden, you're similar but 1 degree warmer on 12. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, we have light wind with some cloud for most of you. Queenstown, Wanaka and Alexandra are all heading for 13. Tiana, you're slightly cooler with light northerlies, a few clouds and 10 degrees. And looking at the northern towns, along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect light northeasterlies, some cloud and 13. Inland of Namarama and Twizel, you should have light winds with some cloud. Amarama heads for 12, Twizel reaches 13. In Dunedin, there'll be some cloud tonight with light northerlies and an overnight low of 8. Fine with areas of high cloud tomorrow and moderate northerly winds with a high of 13 and a low of 7. And it's similar weather on Sunday, looking at a high of 14 and a low of 9. And moving to Invercargill, mostly fine tonight with an overnight low of 8. Cloudy tomorrow with a few light showers possible at times. Expect a high of 13 and a low of 8. And sunny periods on Sunday, but high cloud will increase with northwesterlies becoming a bit fresh throughout the day. A high of 15 and a low of 9. And that's all from the South Today team this Friday, and indeed for the week. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.